Hi guys, Gary from First Home Brew here, and today I wanted to show you, remembering this is the first video I've done in the series, the Cooper's DIY brew kit. This is a great brew kit for beginners. You can hear, and oyster dogs are having a fight under the table at the moment. Unbelievable, just as you go to start recording. It's a great brew kit for beginners. It's pretty much got everything here that you need to be able to make quite a serviceable, if not a really good beer. So I'll just get into it now. So first thing that comes is the fermenter lid. Then you've got your fermenter. Now that's full of your bottles. These are a PET bottle. There's a screw cap included. Totally reusable, so don't throw them out. Once you've poured your beer out of here, just give it a rinse, put a little bit of sanitizer in there, and put the cap back on, and it's ready for next time you brew. So PET bottles, really good. The other option you've got there is your glass bottles, which are the old long necks, been around for a long time. These are really good. The only thing is you do need a capper to be able to put the beer caps on, and they do break, of course, when you drop them, and there is a chance of them shattering if you over-carbonate your beer. So whilst I like to use the glass bottles, they will, to me, they're colder than when you put them in the fridge. I know that's not how it happens, but to me they just feel nice and cold. Your PET bottles, great alternative. But you can use either, there's no problems there. Okay, now, something you will need when you're making beer is a stirring spoon. This comes with the kit. You can always use a stainless steel metal spoon out of the kitchen, but it comes with the kit, so that's very handy to have, so you don't have to pinch your wife's. Also included in the kit is a tap. Now this tap is really good, one of the best I've seen. It's quite innovative. It comes apart nice and easily to clean, so you've got no excuses for any bacteria being harboured in there. And to use it on the fermenter, it just pushes in there. Give it a bit of a push, and that's all. There's no need to screw it in, and you risk crossing the thread and that. It's nice and easy to use. Oh, just forgot something that really makes this kit. Around the fermenter here, it comes with a fermentation collar. And this is a new innovation by Cooper's. Normally you would have an airlock in the top of your fermenter that would allow CO2 to escape as the yeast is working. They've come up with a different way of doing it. And this collar just sits in there, gives you a couple of extra inches for the krausen, or the foamy bit on top of the beer to rise. Some yeast will give you 4 inches of krausen quite easily. This allows for that. Now, as your lid just sits straight on top and clips into place. Now, as your beer creates CO2, or the yeast creates CO2, what you'll find is that will lift slightly, and the CO2 will just bubble out. So there's no oxygen going back into the beer, which is what we want to avoid. And I haven't actually used it before. I'll use this as a sampler, but there's been no complaints about how it works, so I believe it's a fairly good system. Okay, now, the kit also comes with the PET caps, which I mentioned earlier. They just screw onto the top of the PET bottles. Carbonation drops. Now, when you're putting your beer into the bottles, you need to add some form of sugar to allow the yeast to keep working, and that will give you carbonation. We've always just either mixed a batch of sugar up, or dextrose, usually dextrose rather than sugar, or just put a couple of teaspoons straight into the bottles to allow the yeast to keep working. These are carbonation drops, real easy to use. You just drop a couple of these into each bottle and then put your beer in. Pretty much foolproof, so nice easy way to go. Also, when you're bottling, you've got this filler tube, goes up that way. Now, when you're ready to bottle, when your beer's stopped working, that just goes in the tap like that, which fits down there. And the way it works is you turn on the tap, so you just flick it to on. This little bit here is like a valve, so it'll stop the beer running out the bottom. Always pays to have a bowl or something underneath it, just in case, but because you don't want to go making a mess everywhere. But that works really well, quite simple. You take your bottle, when you're ready to bottle, push it up, and that'll start to fill. Once it gets to almost to the top, you just pull your bottle down, put your top on, go to the next one, do the same. Nice easy system. Saves trying to run plastic tubes and siphon it all, which is a hard way to do it. I've tried. That's the easiest way of bottling your beer. Okay. Also in the kit, here's a stick-on thermometer. Just put that on the side of the fermenter there, so you can tell what the temperature of the wort is. You need to know that when you're going to add your yeast. You don't want to add your yeast when it's too hot, because you're in danger of killing off the yeast. And yeast is actually a living organism. These are clips I spoke about earlier that just clip onto the and hold the lid onto the fermentation sleeve, like so. There's two of those, because you don't want your lid actually lifting up like that. That means your sleeve will go up and down like that. So two of those, one for either side. Now, plastic tube and base, and hydrometer. Okay, the hydrometer measures the residual sugar in the beer. When you start off, that reading will be fairly high, and as the yeast converts the sugar into CO2 and alcohol, the reading will drop. So you'll start off with generally something about 1.040, 1.050, and that will drop down to about 1.01 or less, depending on what beer you're making. So there's a bit of variation there, but it's always good to take that reading before you actually bottle your beer, just to make sure that most of the sugar is out of the beer. Otherwise, if you bottle too early, you could overcarbonate, and then you'll open your bottles up and foam will go everywhere, or in worst case scenario, if you're using glass bottles, they could possibly explode. So you do need to take or learn how to use a hydrometer. I've got a blog on that on the website, so not hard to use. It takes a little bit of understanding, but not hard at all to use. What else we got there? Oh, of course, the Cooper's Lager. Okay, so this is going to make a nice, easy drinking beer. I'm looking forward to making that. That's going to be my next video, and I'm going to do it exactly how Coopers tell you to do it. So I'm not going to be adding extra stuff in that. It's going to be real straightforward. I'm also in further videos going to make a beer with partial grain and full grain beer, trying to get the same recipe. So what I am going to do is actually replace the Cooper's yeast with another lager yeast that I've got. It's going to suit Melbourne conditions here because it's fairly cold at the moment, and also I'll have the same yeast across the 3 different beers. So looking forward to that. And with the Coopers, it does come with the Brew Enhancer #1, which is a mixture of dextrose and maltose. It's called maltodextrin. This is better than using plain sugar. It gives the beer a bit better head retention, so your head doesn't just disappear straight away. And if you use plain white sugar, it can get a bit of a cidery taste, which is there's a bit, because all it does, it converts to alcohol. There's no flavour in it. Yes, you can get more alcohol, but you also affect the flavour. So that's pretty much it as far as the Cooper's DIY brew kit goes. Thanks for watching.